taking the concession agreement to Cabinet. And I want to assure you, Cabinet is here to protect the interest of our Kenyans.
After more than 10 hours of complete chaos at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the government found itself cornered, forced to finally sway to the rhythm of aviation workers who had turned the airport into a battleground.
The
standoff triggered by the controversial Adani deal left President Ruto and his Transport CS scrambling for a lifeline. The Transport CS Davis Shirshir, visibly rattled, had to make a hurried public statement addressing the growing discontent over the secretive airport lease. But his attempts at damage control were met with a defiant crowd, chanting "Adani must go." Heckling echoed through the terminal as Chirchir struggled to contain the situation, realizing the gravity of what was unfolding.
Taking the concession agreement to Cabinet, and I want to assure you, Cabinet is here to protect the interest of our Kenyans. Unajua Jeni sawa, mtanisikiza na nitawasikiza pia, hakuna shida. I will listen to you and you listen to me. What we have agreed today, and why don't we be patient to each other? Kwa sababu si Secretary General amesema tumekubaliana na kuna maandishi tumekubaliana.
Hours ticked by as the airport's pulse slowed to a near standstill, with stranded passengers, frustrated workers, and a tense government negotiating behind closed doors. The atmosphere was electric, charged with anticipation. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of back and forth, the government cracked. Chirchir, alongside workers' union leader Moses Ndiema and the ever-boisterous KOTU boss Francis Atwoli, announced a deal to bring JKIA back to life. The workers victorious in the first round would return to work, but the fight was far from over.
Si pengine Ndiema, if you are going to represent your members, ama itakuwa namna gani? Yeah. So I think it is important that we have agreed, we have an agreement on a return to work formula, and I want to invite the Secretary General of KOTU to read to us what we have agreed today.
The government, under intense scrutiny, agreed to open the secretive Adani deal for inspection. This was a major win for the aviation workers, who had long argued that the 30-year lease with India's Adani Holdings was shrouded in mystery and riddled with questionable clauses. For the next 10 days, the union will sift through the fine print, sharpening their claws for the next battle.
We have agreed to resume work on the following conditions, of which we have already agreed on them. That now we have received, so mnajua tulikuwa hatuna documents. Documents have been made available to us, most pertinent documents, as requested by the union. We undertake to go through them within 10 days, working days, and flag out areas of our concern which shall immediately be pointed out with a view of jointly engaging in discussion with government, Kenya Airways, Kenya Airport Authority, after we have flagged out our concerns. Now the government iko ndani.
Atwoli, ever the showman, reveled in the moment, confirming that the government had not only agreed to these demands, but would also sit down for fresh salary negotiations and a new collective bargaining agreement (CBA) within 2 months. Ndiema, however, wasn't ready to call it a day, reminding everyone that agreeing to this deal didn't mean the workers were rolling over on the Adani issue.
What I can say on my part, very briefly, ni kwamba hatujesema sisi tumekubali Adani. Haya, tulia. Pili, tutapewa kura ya turufu, veto power.
The Adani deal itself reads like a corporate power grab, with policies that send shockwaves across Kenya. Adani's blueprint for JKIA paints a picture of exclusivity. Only a fraction of the current workforce would keep their jobs, and even those would be subjected to new, stricter terms. There were also whispers of non-Kenyans hires being brought in, a move that reeked of colonial overtones. The tax exemption for Adani raised further eyebrows, with proposals to allow the company to set service charges and pocket a hefty portion of the revenue that previously went to Kenya Airports Authority. As if that wasn't enough, Adani would gain control over non-aeronautical assets at JKIA, from duty-free shops to parking lots, with plans to hike fees across the board. They even promised a staggering $1.85 billion investment to revamp the airport. But at what cost? Critics pointed to the proposed changes to the Air Passenger Service Charge Act, a brazen move that would give Adani the power to dictate terms and potentially starve KAA, Kenya Airports Authority, of its self-livelihood.